Hi, welcome back to What the Psych, everything you always wanted to know about psychology but had no one to ask. So today I wanted to talk to you about the title psychologist, as it is a protected title here in Australia. And I thought I would share with you the pathways available to become a psychologist here. So these are some of the things that were not all that clear to me when I first started my degree, and I've since spoken to other people who said the same thing. I mean, I did all this, but still wasn't a psychologist. So what I'll do is I'll use my own life to explain to you how it works for me and how I ended up being a psychologist here. Just in case you're wondering, my accent, yes, I'm originally from the Netherlands. I came here when I was 25 and I did various jobs. I ended up working in IT, not because I was so IT savvy, quite, quite the contrary, but I was hired for interpersonal skills, and I was told, well, you bring the customer service and we'll teach you the skills. So really enjoyed it. However, I did have this feeling that I really, really wanted a degree. So I was looking at degrees and different types. I didn't want to do an IT degree and stumbled upon psychology, something that I had been interested in. I've always done lots of personal development and, always engaged coaches every time I wanted to move on a bit further in my life than that. So I did a psychology degree. So it's a 3-year undergraduate degree. I did it in 4 because I was working full time. So I did that, and it was quite interesting. It's called psychology degree, could also be called stats degree, statistics, because it feels like half of it was comprised of statistics and research and how to read statistics, how to put them together, how to draw conclusions. And it actually was, can't believe I'm saying this now after the fact, but it was enjoyable and very, very informative. And it also really helps with critical thinking. Now when I read a newspaper article or so on research that's been conducted, then now I can ask a lot of critical questions, like who was surveyed, did these people have something in common, or where did they find the subject? So anyway, sorry, I'm digressing. So I finished my 3-year degree and I was like, woohoo, I'm a psychologist. But no, I just was a person working in IT with an undergraduate degree in psychology. So it turned out that you needed a 4th year. And I know this probably sounds a bit dumb to some of you. You might think, well, surely, Marianne, you would have known. But I can assure you I was not the only person who felt that way after finishing the undergraduate. So I left it for a bit, did some other training, became a coach, did leadership coaching, and because I've got an MBA, so it worked out well, and the psych degree works out well in that too. And I really enjoyed that, but it sort of still felt incomplete. I did this degree, but I'm not a psychologist. So I went back to uni, did my 4th year, because you have to do a 4th year, which is an honors year. And I did it in 2 again because I was working. So in which that year, it was actually really, really interesting. A bit more, it got a bit more into the actual psychology, and it included a thesis, which was really cool to do. And at my university, we also had to do a systematic literature review. So that was cool. So I did my 4th year and I graduated, with the cap and everything. And I was like, yes, I'm a psychologist. But no, I still wasn't a psychologist. Turns out, and I have to say, I did find this out in my, in the last semester of that 4th year, that no, after your 4th year, your honors year, or there's also a graduate diploma. So I'm not sure what the word is, but another 4th year. So you can do a course year or an honors year. You still have to do another 2 years, and this 2 years is a master's. So when I finished my honors year, it was still possible to do what was called a +2. So it was a pathway to registration where you, instead of doing the actual masters, you would do the work for, equivalent to the masters. So it's 2 years of supervised practice, which you can do, in various settings like private practice, hospitals, education, rehab. And during those 2 years, you need to complete a number of tasks, the same tasks that one would complete if one did the 2-year masters at university. So there's things like case reports, assessments, IQ tests, personality tests, reporting, those sorts of things. So unfortunately, that plus 2, as it was called, has been discontinued. So even though, it's a bit political, that, because there's no actual, the research doesn't show that doing that internship is less of a qualification, or the results that you get with clients, that's what it's going to do, are the same regardless of what sort of pathway you follow. However, it's been stopped, so now only those people still doing the plus 2, they're still in it, because I think it got discontinued this year. So those who are still in it can complete it, and it's grueling, I can tell you. Oh my gosh, because you work full time, you've got all these logs to do, you have to do weekly reflective essays and loads of other things, plus all those tasks, case reports and all those tests. So that is no longer available. However, there is another pathway. What I might do is I might just share my screen and show you how those pathways work. So you see 3-year undergraduate, and then you do a 4th year, or you can do a 4-year sequence. If you can get into a degree that's a 4-year psychology degree, well, then you just do that. It's actually better if you can, because if you do 3 years and then you go into an honors year or another 4th year that's accredited, you have to have a really high grade point average in order to get in. So it's quite competitive. So then you've done that 4-year degree, and you go into what's called the registration pathways to become a general psychologist. So you can do the master's degree, as I said, which is 2 years. There are different types. You have clinical psych, forensic, counseling psychology, organizational psychology. Or even though the 4+2 is no longer available, a 5+1 is. So you do a 5th year at university, and then you do 1 year of supervised practice. And at the end of that, you still need to do your national psychology exam. So this is the +2, the one that I did, 2 years supervised practice, the exam. So the next one you could do is 5+1, which has that 5th year at uni, 1 year supervised practice, and then the exam. You do master's degree, a combined master's and PhD, or a professional doctorate, and that will get you general registration. So if you then want to continue to do, there are areas of practice endorsements that you can do, but that's actually information for a next podcast. I think I would like to keep these short because gets a bit boring. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you, and please remember that if you would like to be involved in the podcast, or if you have certain themes, topics that you would like covered, then you can either drop me an email at whatthepsych101@gmail.com, or leave a comment. And if you could, please subscribe, because just that if you like it, I mean, that's the way that we can get more traction. So I'm hoping the next few episodes some of the things we'll be covering things like the different therapy types. what it's like as an early career psychologist, what are some of the things you run into, some of the difficulties, what you need if you decide to work for yourself in private practice. So you can either contract to an existing company or start up your own private practice. So we'll be going into some of those and creating a list of what's needed. Also, the PDF that shows the pathways to registration are attached in the comment section here underneath the podcast. So anyway, thanks very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it informative, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for your company at What the Psych, everything you always wanted to know about psychology but had no one to ask. We hope you can join us for our next episode, which will again be brought by Marion from Tulip Psychology in Brisbane.